Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the Tier 9 Russian Premium Heavy, the K91. And it's a fantastic tank. It's a good tank. But it has some massive weak points which you can exploit if you're the enemy, and if you're a good player, you can hide. Now, that means you're going to have to be situationally aware, and you're going to have to work the numbers and you work your magic to make it happen, but it's very, very possible to do that. I'm going to show you this game first off from WOT NCG, or we'll just call him NCG from here on in, because it highlights exactly what I want to talk about with the K91's armor profile. You can see that huge upper and lower glacis. It's absolutely enormous. And you can also see the very red sides. Now, you've got 100mm armor paneling on the sides and upper glacis, and that's actually a fair bit. The E75, those of you who know about sidescraping would understand, the E75 has 120mm armor plating on the sides, but it's angled up a little bit slightly, like that VK4502B there. And that means you can sidescrape this tank really effectively, and that's great because that hides the lower glacis, which is massive. Have a look at the ST1's lower glacis. Look at the size of that, which is easily penned at 175mm, and then have a look at the size of the lower glacis on the K91 and the upper glacis. That's 150mm required to pen that area. So you're looking at a tank that has, despite the fact that it's got a lovely armor profile and a great gun, look at this IS-6 go through it. Like, he'll go through that lower glacis absolutely like a knife through butter. You've got to play it like our Amigo NCG is playing it here, using that side scraping ability, and then he'll try and face hug this guy so that he can't get a shot into that lower glacis. He can only get like the 220mm AP pen required upper glacis with his crappy gun depression, and then that's brilliant. And you can see no spaced armor here, no tricks, nothing to hide, just flat armor paneling. That's the key to this tank. If you can do what this bloke here, NCG, is doing, if you can hide it, you're going to make a lot of hay from this tank. But, you know, you need to understand that not at all times are you going to be in positions where this is possible. And despite wanting to do it as much as you possibly humanly can, the red guys are going to have to buy in and drive out in front of you for you to do massive numbers. That's fair enough. You shouldn't have everything. You shouldn't have mobility, gun, and armor profile. You should have to make choices and play to a certain style, and a chord should be met and struck between all those three factors to allow you to do well in the game, as our Amigo NCG does very, very well in this game, pumping out the damage, doing a very nice job side scraping and role-playing that heavy tank, which he is. So it's a heavy tank with some big issues, big issues. But one of the things we love about this game, one of the reasons we get so passionate and cranky about it, is there is a complexity that, as you get better at the game, you can apply to tanks, and you become better at reading the game and adjusting your playstyle to suit the opposition and the situation. And the K91 is one of those great tanks where the better you are at the game, the more you're going to get out of it. It's not like some of those tanks which are just really big, slow, lumbering, like a T95, for instance. It doesn't have the subtlety and the complexity of a tank like this, which, I mean, you can see here, look at this. This is a side-scraping Russian heavy with an autoloader. So what you're looking for here is tanks that are extending to try and get shots into you, and you are able to just punish them tremendously, because you have 3.5 seconds in between shots. That T32's got horrible pen. He's trying to pen the K91. He's trying to brute force a problem that just can't be brute forced. And he's lost a massive selection of hit points there to our Amigo Titan Leonard. Now let's talk about the gun on this tank. It is not a standard peekaboom gun, which is good because it's actually a lot better than a standard peekaboom gun. It's a gun that allows you to catch other heavies out of position. It really relies on people being too aggressive or not having good situational awareness. If that's the case, if you can get tanks like that IS-5 and that T32 peeking, or get them on the move, or catch them in a bad situation, you can really put the hurt on it, because 3 times 310 damage is 930. And if you can average roll 930 into any other heavy tank, that will take half its hit point pool. That's a lot of damage, more than half its hit point pool in the case of tier 8 heavies. The gun itself, though, I mean, it's not a laser beam by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very, very good. 0.319 dispersion when fully kitted out is exceptionally good for a heavy tank at tier 9. Exceptionally good. And the DPM of 2,424 is the balancing factor there. But like most autoloaders, that's not the problem. I mean, your DPM on an autoloader is not really where it's at. What you're looking at on an autoloader is clipping people out. Can it do that? Well, it's good at it, but it's not amazing. It's not like, it doesn't have that 1200 clip like a AMX 50B or a Type 57. It is very much in line and in keeping with the T54E1, that 930 Alpha. But still, when you're playing against tier 8 tanks, then yeah, it is phenomenally good at finishing games. And you can see here Titan Leonard is doing really, really well at in that situation himself. I want to talk about the gun again, just something of note. You'll find this if you play for long enough. Wargaming, they have this weird thing where they like to be historically accurate, and then they like to, you know, have a game that's balanced, and then they like, so you've got a 105mm gun here that's doing 310 damage. Okay, then you have the T44 and this is a great effort too here. Look at that, just gets the angle up in time. Lovely work. Tough thing to deal with for a tier 8 tank. Look at that IS-8. He's not happy either. I mean, that lower glacis, it's where the action is. Draws the shot, and then here comes the clip. 1, 3.5 seconds to go. 2. Love it. Excellent work. Excellent work. Really good job there from our amigo Titan Leonard 99. The gun. So you've got a 310 Alpha gun on it's a 100mm. Now the 100mm on the T44 does 280 average alpha. The 100mm on the T62A does 310 average alpha. The T54E1 with a 105mm gun does 310 average alpha. They have to juggle these things obviously for game balance, and then there's an intersection of historical accuracy and all that kind of stuff. But just rest assured, the gun sits prettily on the K91. Now, one thing that I really have to get to here, and which is very, very important as we watch Best Pom go round in the K91, is all these games you're seeing here with the big numbers, the flashy numbers, they're all against tier 9 vehicles and tier 8 tanks. Tier 10 tanks punish the K91 quite a lot. And there is a big part of the balance of this tank is that it is going to see tier 10. Because, I mean, you can be heshed for a full roll by a Death Star in your lower plate. And, I mean, a Death Star will run 230mm a pen with calibrated shells. Your lower plate is like 150mm. So you can angle that thing up as much as you want. If you get hit in the lower plate by a Death Star, you could quite conceivably lose nearly all your hit points. And that means you've got to adjust your playstyle. Now, good players won't struggle with that at all. Good players will manage that, and that's fine. But if you are watching these games and thinking that you can just roll forward and do the business in any situation and circumstance and get these kind of bounces against, you know, IS-4s and E100s and FV215Bs and Centurion Mark 6s and E3s and grills, and you are going to get a massive shock. But that's all right, because there should be a little bit of balance to the force, you know what I mean? This tank would be a joke if it only ever saw tier 9. If that was the case, then yeah, I could certainly see the K91 being the best tank in the tier, because that clipping ability on a tank with 1500 hit points like that Lerva, taking 2/3 of its hit point pool in one foul swoop would be pretty freaking scary. But it's not. You see tier 10, and that really does bring you back to earth. But It's a great fun tank to play. I love tanks with high risk, high reward strategies. And for me, the K91 isn't even that. It's medium to moderate risk. Once you figure out that lower glacis has to be hidden, you can play this one aggressively. You can play this one from the back. You can use the gun, the excellent .319 dispersion on the gun to snipe and play a support role in a tier 10 game. You can follow mediums with the mobility. It's a very strong tank. There's no denying it. And if you can't make it work, then it's not going to be the fault of the vehicle. It is 100% going to be the fault of the human behind the wheel. Now, the human behind the wheel in this case is Best Pom. Now, Best Pom is doing a great job, but he's been left to tank all these reds. He's got one more left in the clip. Gets a bounce in the IS6, gets a bounce in the VK4502B, which was a very, very lucky bounce, by the way, and then backs this big dog up behind the carcass of the Lerva here, Mr. Level Lerva. Get around there, big man. Get around there now. Hold on. Remember how we talked about the K91's brilliant for taking advantage of tanks that actually overextend? You can see here he's side scraping. He's giving this IS6 absolutely no angles. Gets the bounce, and the IS6 has come out sideways for that shot. It's going to be a bit of a theme, the IS6 here. And then the T44 comes around and sticks the auto aim on him and pulls it back. So he takes that shot, gets a nice bounce in that 100mm, and then starts withdrawing. Now he can't push forward behind that T44 at the moment because of the IS6, so he decides to push around and then drive out of this to the left. Great move, very, very solid. And he's now around the corner. T44 has fired one off. Oh, that was a very rough bounce. That means that he is now more than 2 average alpha rolls. His teammate misses, and he gets a slightly above average alpha roll there, but leaves 5 hit points to go. The T44 doesn't need to push around to the right here, but he's going to. The green T44, that's not the place you want to be. That IS6 has 400 average alpha. Oh, and he's gone. Clears him. Oh, come on, man. Just one more shot into here. Here comes the next contestant in Can We Clear the K91? It is the T49. He needs to roll 249 with a HE shell. Can he do it? He rolled 236. Wow. So we're still alive here. And this IS6 looks like his turret is just not going to turn. I don't know what he's doing. But you're going to see a great situation here. Best Pom is going to back this baby up. Now, he's got 7 degrees of gun depression, so he can afford to get all the way back here. He'll still get shots off, and the IS6 is going to try and reverse around this corner rather than taking the time to turn the tank. And that's a bad idea because Best Pom has tracked him, and now he's going to dack him. Absolutely, the IS6 can't get the gun down, and Best Pom finishes off a wonderful, wonderful little Kolobanovsky there. Well done, mate. 6,275 damage, Kolobanov, steel wall, high caliber, mastery badge, and 94,000 freaking credits. You can see the tank does make some moolah. Excellent work indeed. If you have replays, guys, send them into bushkagaming@gmail.com. bushkagaming@gmail.com. Follow the channel, subscribe, like the videos, get involved in the live streams, and until next time, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.